As it's starting. Okay, we are live. Hi, everybody. Welcome to our first live stream for spring 2018 new admits. My name is Meg Austin. I am an academic advisor here at Cal State Monterey Bay. I advise for the majors in the School of Natural Sciences. Today, we will be hosting a live stream for all majors. This is not major specific. We're here to answer more general questions for everybody who's coming in to start at CSUMB next semester. We will be, you can leave comments or questions in the chat to the right of your YouTube video. If you have not already, please be sure to make a YouTube channel. You'll have to make your own YouTube channel to be able to submit a question. It's very easy. You just click on the little picture icon on the top right-hand corner of your screen, click My Channel, click Create Channel, and that's it. Okay, so also many of the topics that we'll be discussing today are linked beneath the YouTube video that you'll be seeing. So feel free to check those out. And you also will be able to watch these live streams later on too. So if you can't watch them live, they will be saved to our CSUMB Advising YouTube channel. You can watch them back and leave comments below the YouTube video, and we can answer them in a future live stream or in an email later on. So if we don't have any questions yet, I'm going to hand it over to our advisors for them to introduce themselves, our awesome academic advisors hosting today, and let them talk to you about some important information. Go right ahead.
Thank you, Meg. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our webinar. My name is Jessica Pinales. I'm an academic. Oh, Jessica Herrera. Haha, just changed my name. I'm an academic advisor for computer science, communication design, math. I also help with psychology and undeclared, but all of you should be declared. So.
And hello, everybody. My name is Christy Lofgren, and I advise for psych and for undeclared.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Jesus Clemente. I advise for SBS, Global Studies, Spanish, and Japanese.
All right. So today we are going to cover a few things that we feel like will be helpful for you to prepare you for registration. Like Meg mentioned before, please feel free to type in your questions. That's what we're here for, to answer any questions that you may have. And we'll show you some tools and things that we think will be helpful to you.
Are we going to start with the dashboard?
Yeah.
Let's make one quick announcement, because this is going to come up more than anything, is, hey, Jessica, when do I register?
That is a great question. So if you are attending orientation this weekend, then you will be registering on Monday, December 11th. If you are not attending orientation, no worries. You'll be registering the next day, the 12th, on Tuesday. You will have access to your shopping cart starting about December 7th. So a lot of the stuff that we're going to go over today, you won't be able to do just yet, but just hang in there. December 7th, you should have access to your CSUMB email address. You'll have access to your shopping cart, so you can put classes in there. You'll have access to making appointments online. So if you want to make an appointment with your advisor after you register, you can do that as well. And we'll kind of walk through all of that today. So right now you should be seeing our screen, which is the CSUMB homepage. We're going to show you a couple of things. The first thing we're going to do is the dashboard, right?
Yes.
All right, so you all should be able to see your dashboard already. It should look very similar to this. This is like your main page for everything that is involved at CSUMB. You can access your email address here. So after the 7th, you can go ahead and click on that link. It'll ask you to agree to the Google standards or guidelines that they have. Click OK, and then you'll be able to access it right away. Mail is the primary communication. Email is primary communication on campus for everything, including housing, financial aid, advising, professors. Everything that you're going to be doing is through email. So make sure that you're checking that regularly. Hook it up to your phone, whatever you need to do, so that you're getting all those emails. You also have access to calendar, your CMS, which is the main thing that we're going to go over today. And you'll be able to make advising appointments from here as well. Anything else you want to talk about the dashboard?
No, just get familiar with your dashboard because you will be using this the entire time that you're here. And there's some really good links on there. And then let's walk you through CMS.
I gotta log in real quick.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. So we can talk about some other things while you're logging on.
Yeah.
Take your time.
When are the phone banks, Mr. Jesus?
Phone banks will actually be happening on Thursday and Friday, the 7th and 8th, from 10 to 12 p.m.
So does that mean I can call in and have an hour-long appointment with my advisor?
No, not 1 hour.
You're mean. Okay. Just 10-minute quick, 5-minute quick.
Quick conversations, quick check-ins.
Quick questions.
Yes.
Cool. And what's going on Friday?
On Friday, December 8th, we are going to have an open lab. So if you have some questions or you're having some difficulties putting courses in your shopping cart, we can walk you through that registration or that preparation process on Friday, December 8th from 2 to 4 p.m.
Very cool.
And this information can be found on our homepage, as that will actually be happening in the BIP building. So you can get the actual location off our website.
Excellent. It looks like we're having technical difficulties with CMS.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well,
We do have a couple questions from some familiar names.
Oh, we have a couple questions.
We have a couple questions from some familiar names.
Okay.
good. I like that.
So Christine wants to know, can I, a new transfer student, create a new learning plan right now?
Great question. So a lot of us are not able to do learning plans just yet, and that's because you are not officially matriculated in our system, which means we do not have access to all of your transfer credits yet. So until we get those, which will be after December 7th, it's kind of hard to do a full learning plan because we don't have access to all your information just yet. So I would hold off. Most of us are probably saying January. By that point, you'll be registered in your new classes. We should have all of your transfer credits in your final grades from this last semester and everything that you are doing. So it'll be a lot easier to make a really good comprehensive plan in January. But if you have questions, you're always welcome to call, or you can come into the office if you're local, and we'll do our best to answer your questions and give you an idea. But learning plans, yeah, not until January probably.
Good question.
Oh.
Boom.
Okay, we also have another question from a familiar name.
Cool.
Jennifer is wondering, can I still register for orientation?
Yes, I believe today is the last day. Am I lying to you?
I don't think so.
I
We
believe
can definitely check the website. I think, yeah, you definitely can email orientation@csumb.edu and check to see when you can still register for orientation. It is happening next Saturday, December 9th.
which is this Saturday.
This Saturday.
Ooh,
This
yeah.
coming
So
Saturday.
Jesus had written down because he's super organized. December 4th. So we were correct in our first shot.
Yep.
And it's probably 5 o'clock, but you can go online onto the CSUMB website, and there's a link right there that you can click to apply for orientation. Excellent question,
Very
Jennifer.
Okay, we have another question from Kyle. Kyle is asking, will we be able to meet with an advisor during orientation, or do we need to schedule an appointment?
We'll actually have the opportunity to meet your advisor during orientation. We will have a major specific component in which you will meet at times maybe the faculty from the department, but more importantly, you also get a chance to meet your academic advisor and have a quick introduction, meet and greet, and sort of establish that relationship from there.
Yeah, totally. We'll be available to answer questions. Most of us will go over kind of some recommended classes, which we'll be sending out to your emails right now. You should have gotten some emails from your advisor already with some information about classes, but that's a great opportunity to meet us and ask your questions so you're ready to register on Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, so it will be group advising. We won't have time for one-on-one unless we have time at the end of the session if we run ahead of schedule. But so bring your questions. If they don't get answered between now and Saturday, bring your questions and just know that it will be in a large group setting depending on your major. And we'll do the best we can to answer your questions then. But please check your email. Whatever email you signed up for your application at Cal State Apply. That's the email that we're responding to right now, your Gmail, your Comcast, whatever that email is. And then as soon as your CSUMB emails are live, those are the only ones that we'll be emailing to, and those are the only ones we'll be responding to because of FERPA reasons.
December 7th.
December 7th. Hopefully. Yeah. Yes, December 7th.
All right. I have a question. So if I applied as one major but wanted to change my major, how would I go about doing that?
Great question. So there's a couple of things with that. The first one is if you're interested in changing your major to an impacted major, that can get a little tricky, and all of our impacted majors are listed on the website. You have to have the prereqs done for that major before we can officially change your major. So it might take you a little extra time if you're interested in like psychology or if you're interested in business. They have a lot of prereqs that they require for their transfer students, so you have to have those done before you can officially declare. But for any of them, the best thing to do is to meet with that advisor. We can actually show you where to find the different advisors that we can do.
That's a great idea.
So when you are on the main page on your dashboard, if you type in anything in the search, you can usually find it. So we are looking for advising. And our Center for Advising Career and Student Success is the main page. So what you want to do is go to Meet the Staff, and you will see all the different advisors. So we have Alex, he's our kinesiology, and all of our majors that we advise for are listed right next to there along with our contact information. So you can find the major that you're interested in. Some of us don't have pictures just yet, but find the major you're interested in, and then you can contact that advisor, or you can call our office and schedule an appointment, because you don't have access to make online appointments just yet. That'll be on December 7th after you get your CSUMB email address. So in the meantime, you can call and make an appointment. So that's
amazing. Thank you.
Since we're on this website, should we walk through our guides and tools?
Yeah. Great idea.
Wonderful idea.
So on the Center for Advising Career and Student Success website, we have a link for guides and tools. This is where you can find all the videos that we have on our YouTube page, which are extremely helpful. We recommend you watch all of them, or at least the ones that pertain to you. It'll show you how to browse the web schedule, which we're going to show you today, but this will be there just in case you missed something. How to choose classes as a transfer student, your academic requirements page, which since we don't get a chance to show you today, your advisor will show you hopefully in the meeting that you have with them, but we'll also show you on our one-on-one meetings. Really, this is an important page to check out, and this video will walk you through all of that. We have another helpful tool called the Schedule Planner. This takes all the thinking out of scheduling your plan once you know what classes you want to take. It's really helpful, and the video will guide you through that. How to make an appointment. Once you have access to your CSUMB email address, you'll be able to make advising appointments online for us, for career, for student success, everything that you need to make an appointment, or at least on our website in our office, you can do that online. And then it'll walk you through your CMS Student Center, which you should have access to already. It'll give you some more information for that. So there are a lot of great videos. Take a look if you haven't. Watch them. And if you do watch them and you have questions, those are perfect to ask on these webinars that we're doing.
Absolutely. Okay, we got another question coming in from Maggie.
Cool.
So should we, are you trying to not share your screen, Jessica?
Oh, I cannot share my screen. Yes.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, so as a new transfer student, how should we go about deciding what classes to take in the spring?
Great question.
Excellent question. Would you like to take that, sir?
Students should have received an email from their advisor with a welcome email, followed up with a second email with recommendations of courses that one should take or would take, depending on what requirements you have met. So definitely check the email account that you registered for when you first applied for CSU Apply. So that's our form of communication until the 7th, until we get your official CSUMB email. But please check your email, as some courses have already been sent out as recommendations.
Also, if you haven't got an email like that, I would recommend you reach out to your advisor. The lists have been changing a little bit as you are added into the system as a student. So if you haven't received any emails from us or from the Center for Advising, then make sure that you reach out and let us know. You can contact your advisor directly. All of our emails are on the website like we showed you, so you can let us know if you haven't been receiving those emails. Another thing that we always recommend students do is take a look at the catalog. So we can show you the catalog actually right now. It's another helpful tool that you should become very familiar with. So we're on the Center for Advising Career and Student Success page, but we're going to find the catalog. There's a lot of different ways you can get to it. This is a quick way. Since you all are starting in spring 2018, you will be the 2017-2018 catalog. It changes every year, so make sure that you're on the right one. Once the new catalog comes out, you can always check the archive for your catalog. But it's important that you follow those rules and those requirements, because that's what we're going to hold you to when you're graduating. So after you're on the catalog website, just go ahead and click on academic programs, undergraduate programs, and you'll see a list of all the different majors. So we're going to pick, what do we want to pick?
SBS.
Let's do SBS since we have our SBS advisor here. So you
Our
can
expert.
click here. It'll give you kind of an intro what the department wants you to know about that specific major. It'll give you a list of all the required classes. If you're an AAT student, it'll give you some details there. But it'll give you a list of all of the classes that you're required to complete for your major. If you have a concentration, you can click there, and it'll give you more information about those classes. But the most important thing we want to show you today is there are course pathways that are listed. You can pick whatever concentration. Let's do anthropology, and it'll give you kind of an idea of what you should be taking. Since you all are transfer students, you'll start in fall of junior year. A lot of the pathways that we do have online actually have transfer pathways as well. So you can take a look at that. But it'll give you an idea of classes that you should be taking this first semester. This is just like a general, like in a perfect world, this is what we would like you to take your first semester of your junior year. So it'll at least give you a starting point. But like Jesus mentioned, we are sending out emails to you, so make sure you refer to that as well.
Awesome. Okay, we got another question from Peter. Peter is wondering, a lot of my transfer classes say the equivalent course is Tran T116. I'm assuming he's referring to the transfer credit report found in his CMS. And then he's asking, what does that mean?
So he looked in his, I'm sorry, Peter looked in his transfer credit report?
I'm assuming yes. He didn't say, Peter did not say that, but he's saying a lot of my transfer classes are saying the equivalent course is TRAN T116. What does that mean?
So it likely means that we don't have an exact class that articulates to that same exact class, but that it did transfer in. And the TRAN 116 is just a transfer code, meaning it transferred in from the community college. If there's any issues on your transfer credit report, I see a lot of them for psych majors, such as research methods. A lot of times they're not going to transfer in as research methods, so I have to go in the system and I have to do a substitution. So if there's anything that stands out like that, like, hey, my statistics class isn't showing because it just says math, or hey, my intro to computer science class isn't showing, definitely let your advisor know. Or if there's a class on there that doesn't look right because you knew you took that class, definitely check in with your advisor, because that's something we can look into for you.
Yeah, and along with your transfer credit report, you can see how they coded them. But you can also check your academic requirements page, which we mentioned before, and that's in your CMS account. The academic requirements page is a check-off list of everything that you need in order to graduate. It includes your general education requirements, and it also includes your major requirements. So listed there, you'll see a green check mark if you have it completed. So if you see that something is red, and you know that you did that class at your community college, that's a perfect thing to reach out to your advisor so we can take a look at that. So a lot of your transfer credits might be coming in that way. We'll have to fix that. And to kind of follow up on that, that will affect your registration. So until we get you all squared away with your prereqs and things like that, you might need permission codes to add your classes. So if something is showing up red, that's a prereq for one of the classes you want to take, and you know you've taken the prereq, just contact your advisor and we'll be giving out codes.
I was going to say that's a great leadway into how do I know where to get permission codes?
Great question. So we are going to we're going to share our screen again. So we're back on the catalog. Again, you want to go to our advising website. So Center for Advising Career and Student Success. Under the guides and tools, there's a bunch of other links here along with the video. So the first one is permission codes. What are permission codes? How do I know if my class needs a permission code? And how do you get them? It'll give you a list of all the different email addresses for who you should contact. So like for me, I give out codes for computer science and communication design. Chrissy will give out codes for psychology, and you can see them listed here. So it'll give all the email addresses. So that's a great way to start if you need codes. How to know if you need codes, we of course have the video that'll show you, but there's a way that you can actually validate classes in your shopping cart. So once you get those classes in your shopping cart after December 7th, you'll be able to validate and you'll be able to see if you need those codes. So you can request them ahead of time.
Awesome. Okay. We have another question from Christine.
Okay.
Christine wants to know, what does validating your cart mean?
Great question. So as we mentioned before with the prereqs, sometimes they don't always show up correctly. So validating means that it's looking through and to see if you've met those prereqs. So even if you know for sure that you have met them, if it's not coded correctly, the system's not going to recognize that you have those prereqs. So that means that you will need permission codes, and you can check that list to see who to email, and then email that person, request the codes, and we will be able to give those codes to you so you're able to add the class. One thing to keep in mind when you're requesting codes, we need to know the class name. So if it's CST 231, and then you also need to give us the section number. Sometimes classes have multiple sections, which I guess is a segue into the schedule. So we can show you what the schedule looks like so you can see what the classes are and what the section numbers are.
I wanted to add, as you are requesting for permission numbers and you're reaching out to different folks, sometimes it might be helpful to put a description as to how you met the prerequisites in order to maybe expedite that process.
Excellent.
Yeah, the more information you include in your email, the better. So make sure you put your student ID number. That's that 9-digit number that you get. That's how we can find you in the system. So it's a lot easier to find you if we have that number. Again, put the class that you're looking for. So we're going to go to the class schedule, which is listed on the bottom here. There's a bunch of helpful links there. And it'll show you the most current schedule. So spring 2018 is, of course, up. Chrissy, do you want to walk it through?
Sure. So all of the subjects are going to be on the left-hand side. So let's say that you are going to take, I don't know, a psych class, because I'm biased. We're going to go all the way down to psychology, click on psychology. This is the schedule. This is everything that we're offering for spring. If you notice at the top of your screen right there, it's in red, it says class is full, 30 out of 30. So if that's on there, that class is already full because our current students actually already registered in November. So that's why the classes are full already. But you can walk down the first number that you see. Let's take Psych 301, for instance. That first number, section 1, right there at the top, it says section number. That's the number you want to say, hey, Chrissy, I need a code for statistics. But you got to let me know what section number. Is it 1? Is it 2? Is it 3? Is it 4? And that's how we identify the permission codes. So the third number, that's called the CRN number. Catalog, not sure what CRN registration number, sure. But we actually always go by the section number. And then the units, it'll tell you how many units that class is worth. A lot of the psych classes have labs, so you'll see like statistics, Psych 301, 3 units, and then the lab that you have to take with it is 1 unit. For psychology, if you take section 2, you have to take section 2 lab. And then the next one tells you how many seats are taken out of the class. So there's 22 seats taken out of Psych 301 section 2. Tells you the professor that's teaching it, tells you the day, the time, and the location. So it's great to map it out too. So like, go ahead and click on that, Jessica. Click on the class.
This one?
Sure, on 301. So then it breaks it down. What is this class about? If it has any special notes, it tells you how many open seats it has. But knowing where the classes are at, that's great for mapping your schedule too. So that way you're not running across campus. You can kind of get an idea of where things are. When you click on anything that's highlighted, it will take you straight to the campus map or not and tell you exactly where classes are. There you go. Perfect. Anything you would like to add to the schedule?
I guess the other thing to keep an eye on is prereqs. So you want to make sure you know what the prereqs are so you can take the class. If you're looking for textbooks, you can click on the class link and it'll take you to our bookstore website. You can get more information about the professor. That 5-digit number that we said, the CRN, is actually how you can add it to your shopping cart individually. So if you're looking to add a class, you can use that number there. Yeah, I think that's the most important.
Keep in mind too that the schedule is about an hour or so behind. So if it's time to register, the quickest way to register is straight in your CMS shopping cart and to search for classes in there, because the schedule is always about an hour behind. So that's a question that we get a lot. Hey, class says it's open on the schedule, but it could already be closed.
And just following up what Jessica was saying about the co-req, prereq, it's very important to read that part of the course, because a course you might want to take might have a required co-requisite that won't let you enroll in the course until you actually are enrolling in both the co-requisites at the same time. So making sure you're just reading those and aware of what the prereqs are and the co-reqs for any class.
Excellent. Any more questions, Meg?
Yeah, so we have a couple here. Sword is asking about something I'm not sure we can speak a lot on, about shorting the student debt bubble. Sword, I would really encourage you to check with our financial aid office about resources to learn about scholarships that the campus offers, external scholarships that you can get other ways, financial aid. They're a really great resource to help new students about financing your college experience and paying for college and other ways of that. So just on our website, csumb.edu/financial aid will get you to their website and their contact information.
Excellent.
We have another question from a familiar name. Gladys is wondering, how is the language proficiency requirement met?
Who would like to take that question?
That's a wonderful question.
That's a tough one for me.
All right.
I got it.
Yeah.
I got it. Let me take a stab at this first. What did you say that student's name was?
The student's name is Gladys Cabana.
Okay.
Gladys.
Gladys, so there are several ways that you can meet the language requirement here. First, let me start off by saying, depending on your major, that has a lot to do with the language requirement, because there are certain high unit majors that when you transfer in with a certain amount of units, you don't have to complete the language requirement because you're going to be taking a lot more units in your major. We have a list of all of those majors on the website. Business, computer science, your bio sciences, math, liberal studies. I'm probably missing one, but you can go onto the website and it'll show you what majors need to do language. But if you're psychology or social behavioral sciences or humanities and communication and other majors, you will need to do language. You will need to get to the 3rd level or intermediate level of a language other than English.
So that would be like a Spanish, for example, Spanish 201. Oftentimes students have taken AP exams in high school. And some of those scores, specifically in the Spanish area or some of these other language and culture areas, with a specific score of a 4 or 5, will satisfy the language proficiency as well. One of the most important resources on here, if you are going to do Spanish, would be the placement exam. The online placement exam for Spanish Takes about 20 to 30 minutes. There is a secret password that is hidden.
Super.
And you do follow that link, and you should be able to complete that, and it will give you a specific score. Based on that score, we are able to develop more efficient and effective learning plans, specifically relating to the placement of Spanish.
So unfortunately, we only have a test for Spanish, but if you do have experience in another language that we offer here, like American Sign Language, Italian, Japanese, you can actually talk to the World Language and Cultures Department, and they can possibly assess you and see if maybe you can skip over a semester or so. It just depends on your experience and how your skills kind of line up. The most important thing, we want to make sure you get to the intermediate level. So how you get there is kind of up to you. We can help guide you with that. So it's a great question to ask your advisor if you have any questions. If you have no background or experience in a language, you're going to probably take about 3 semesters to do it. So it's really important that you start it early. Like I mentioned before, we have 4 languages that we offer on our campus. American Sign Language, Japanese, Italian, and Spanish. If you are interested in taking a language that we don't offer here, you're welcome to do that over the summer or at another community college. Again, you just have to get to that intermediate level. So if you have specific questions about that, I would definitely reach out to your advisor so we can talk about your specific experience, and we'll give you your best options when you speak with us.
What if you're fluent in a language, Jessica?
Great question.
Yeah.
So if you're fluent in specifically Spanish, we actually have a Spanish 212 for native speakers class that you can take. You still have to take a class to prove that you have the skills to be proficient in that language, but it's 1 semester only. If you are proficient in another language, we do have a class called WLC 212, which is offered in the spring. If we can bring in an assessor to see how your skill set is, if you're proficient in that language, then it's kind of like a culture class that you take that semester. You still have to take a class to show that. For international students, this is a little different. So make sure you ask the study abroad office about that for more information if you're proficient and you're coming as an international student.
You're all so smart.
You do this a lot.
Yeah.
Very informative and helpful. Thank you. So I just want to make a little announcement as we're kind of halfway or half an hour into our live stream. I just want to make sure that everyone knows, if you haven't already made a YouTube channel, that is the only way that you can actually submit questions in the chat box to the right of your YouTube video that you're watching. So make sure that you're making a channel. It's really easy. It's only 2 steps. And so that way you can participate and ask your questions, and we can answer them for you right now. We have a couple other questions too. So Kyle's asking, when I try to view my transfer credit report, it says I'm not authorized to access this component. Who should I call about this issue?
It's actually probably just because you're not a matriculated student yet. Even though your transcripts could be in the system, admissions is working hard right now, and they're trying to get all of the new transfer students matriculated. And again, we hopefully will have the green light on the 7th, which is
Thursday?
Thursday, yeah. So as of hopefully Thursday, everything should be good to go. And in the system, you'll be able to see your student center, your degree progress report, and your transfer credit.
All right. So another question from Maggie. What are our options if we have trouble getting into classes we need in the spring?
So if you're having trouble getting into classes, number 1, reach out to your advisor. We will do the best to get you into other classes that you need, so you're not just taking classes that are random. There's a lot of different things that you can work on aside from maybe what is on the pathway or the classes that we give you as recommendations. So there's a lot of different options. We will do our best to make sure that you get into classes that you need, but you have to make sure that you reach out to us to let us know if you're having trouble getting into those courses.
Yeah, we want you to be on the right track, obviously, and take classes that you need. So that's what we're here for, to answer those types of questions too. So yeah, please reach out to us if you have trouble registering on what classes you are planning on taking. Okay, I have a question. I'm going to be working 20 to 30 hours a week to help pay for college and to live and to pay rent and to eat. So how many courses should I take if I'm working that much?
That's an excellent question. Who's going to take that one?
Me.
Yes.
I'm in trouble now. How many hours did you say you were working?
I have to work 20 to 30. 30 the most.
30 at the most. Wow. And is it a demanding job?
Well, you know, I get tired at the end of it. So it is. I'm pretty exhausted at the end of my day.
I definitely would love to see a balanced schedule for you. One of the most important things is really managing your time. So there's a lot of resources on campus that can help you manage your time. Oftentimes we consider our education as our full-time job. So in addition to that, working 20 to 30 hours, you're, you know, in reality, putting in about 60 to 70 hours worth of effort into the courses. So working beyond that, we really are pushing it, but we also understand that students have lives and they have to be able to provide. So I think for a student, it would depend also on the student's courses selections. So anywhere from 12 to maybe about 16, I would say would probably be just fit because it also keeps you on target. It's been shown that if you do 15 units per semester and you complete about 30 units per year, academic year, your retention rate is a lot higher, and also your graduation rate will also go up. So keeping you on pace is important, but just really developing a well-balanced schedule is very important. So really developing a relationship with your academic advisor and having open and honest conversations about how demanding the job can be, or how much energy it's draining from you, or how much energy it's taken away from your coursework. I would love for your coursework to be your #1 priority, but I also have to be respectful of other demands.
That's excellent advice.
Absolutely.
And I think that we all get in the habit that we tell students in our emails, 15 to 16 to keep you on track. But you know what? If 12 units is good for you, 12 units is full-time, 12 units is full-time for financial aid, 12 units is full-time for housing. So if you're comfortable in 12 units, you take 12 units. It's your journey. It's your academic career. So you have to do what's best for you. I have some students that actually come in here because they're working 40 hours a week. They just take 1 or 2 classes a semester. And again, everybody's different. So you have to do what's best for you and just have that conversation, like Jesus was saying, with your academic advisor so that you're both on the same page and you can set up a learning plan that's going to fit your needs the best.
Great answers. Following up on that, if I have to be very intentional about how I schedule my classes, like let's say I have to work, you know, Tuesdays and Thursdays, so I can only try and take classes on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, how much time do I need to in between each of my classes? Like, is campus pretty walkable? Can I get to, if I only have a back-to-back class all day long, can I get to them?
So it honestly depends on where your classes are, and that's why it's helpful to take a look at the schedule and see kind of where the classes are located. Chrissy and I have gone from one part of campus to another, and it took us about like 15 minutes, and that was at a pretty steady walk.
Yes.
Downhill. So downhill,
yes.
And you have to come back uphill. And parking can be a hassle. So it's not as easy to drive around and park right next to your classes. Usually you have to park in one spot at the beginning of the day and stay there all day if you want to get a spot. So be mindful of that, I would say, if they're in the same building. And you're good.
It's actually quicker to walk, I think, to park in one spot and then walk to your classes.
Yeah.
Otherwise, sometimes I see people circling and it takes longer to sit there and wait for somebody to back out of their parking spot. It's just as quick to walk around. We have a great walking friendly campus. Some streets are even closed to traffic, so it makes it a lot nicer. And just take that one centralized parking space or use the shuttle. We have a shuttle service around campus too, which is great.
Yeah. One thing I will also say as far as scheduling goes, for some of our majors, certain classes are only offered at certain times of the day, and that's every semester. They're the same time, same location, same day. So if you do find you have a limited schedule, make sure you check in with your advisor about that. We can kind of give you the tips that we have regarding those classes. But sometimes you just have to kind of maybe hopefully work with your work schedule to see if you can maybe take that class one semester, because it might be the only time that it's being offered. So that can happen, especially for some of the smaller majors we have.
All very good points. All right, a couple other questions from Jennifer. I think we actually answered this one a little bit just a bit ago. How many units do full-time students take in a semester? So yeah, 12.
So 12 at least. We typically recommend students take 15 to 16 to stay on track to graduate. But again, like Chrissy said, it's your journey, and you have to do whatever fits better with your schedule, with your life. You all have different obligations. You have family and other things, so you have to take that into consideration. They are upper level classes, so it's a little different than community college. Especially your first semester, I would try it out and see how it goes before you load yourself up with a lot of units. So always check in with your advisor if you have questions about that.
That's good advice. And don't overwhelm yourself first semester. We only have, unlike community colleges, this is a good segue for this. A lot of times you have like 5, 6, 7 weeks that you can actually drop out of a class. You're like, yeah, this isn't working for me, so I'm going to drop it. Here at CSUMB, you have 2 weeks. So you only have 2 weeks to decide whether you want to drop that class or not. After 2 weeks, you're in something what we call the withdrawal period. And the only way to get out of that class or to drop that class would be to have a serious and compelling reason, and you have to have documentation to support it. So really make sure that you're feeling it out the first 2 weeks. And if you're having any issues, if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're thinking this is just way too much for first semester, make sure you drop that class within the first 2 weeks. It is not the professor's responsibility to drop you. A lot of people think, well, if I just don't show up to class, they'll just drop me. They can, but they might not. And if they don't, that's on you. So you don't want to get stuck in that class and have a WU, which is the same thing as an F, because then that, of course, will affect your academic standing and you'll be on academic probation. So make sure your schedule is straight. And again, 2 weeks you have, and you will be sent out reminders from your advisor and from this office.
Amazing. Okay. Next question from Jennifer. Where is the advising office? And I believe by her second question, what she means is what times are you available to meet with students?
Great question. So we are located in the library on the 3rd floor. If you're going up the elevators or up the stairs, you just cross over the little walkway that we have, and we're right in the middle there. All of our advisors are located here with the exception of our science advisors. They are in the Chapman Science Center where you'll probably be taking a lot of your classes. They're on the 1st floor there. So you can come in and meet with us. Our career advisors are also right across the library from us, so they're also located in the library. So when you're ready to meet with one of them, you can come to our office as well. As far as hours go, in the typical schedule, we have appointments Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays from about 8:30, 9 o'clock until about 3:30, 4 o'clock, depending on the advisor. We're closed for lunch, usually around 12 to 1, so we don't take appointments during lunch. And on Wednesdays, throughout the semester, we have walk-in advising. So this is a really great time to come in if you have like a quick question, you want to check in about something. We do like 10-minute walk-in advising every Wednesday from about 8:30, 9 o'clock until about 4 o'clock. You can come in and ask quick questions. We do not do learning plans on those days, so if you want a learning plan, you have to schedule an appointment. Depending on the advisor, it could be 30 minutes to an hour on those other weekdays. But Wednesdays, we always have walk-ins. We're going to have some special scheduling around registration. So we're actually going to have walk-ins the days of registration, right?
Yes.
So on the 11th and on the 12th, we'll be having walk-ins all day. So if you're local, you can come in and talk to the advisor if you're having trouble registering or if you have questions. You can try to call in also. We'll answer when we're not with a student if you're having trouble registering for classes. But we'll have some walk-ins every once in a while, and we'll let you know those days.
All right. So I think I'm going to start wrapping things up because I don't see any more questions that have come in. You have all done an awesome job presenting and answering questions. Thank you to all the students who have submitted questions. You're awesome. We're excited to have you, and everyone else who watches this live stream later. We're excited to have you start at CSUMB. Like we mentioned before, we're going to have more live streams this week. The next one is tomorrow at 1:30, and then there's another one on Wednesday at 9:30 again. We encourage you to watch all these live streams, even if you've watched one. We're going to have different advisors on each live stream, so you'll be able to meet them or see them and answer any other questions or hear any other questions that might come up. We're also going to have call-in hours, like Jessica and Chrissy and Jesus mentioned. Call-in hours are going to be on Thursday from 10 to 12 and also Friday, December 8th, 10 to 12. We're also offering an open lab for mostly local students. This is not a mandatory event. We want to encourage local students to come to stop by. We're going to be offering open labs from 2 to 4 on Friday, December 8th, in the Gambert building, the BIT building, the nice big building next to the library. Okay, what else here? So also, orientation is going to be this Saturday, and then you will be able to access your shopping carts by December 7th. So make sure you are reading your emails from your advisors. Please check your email and getting that advice on how to work your shopping cart, how to use all the other resources that we have to help you get comfortable with registration. Just check to see, make sure there aren't any more questions. Nope, we're good. So again, thank you everybody. Thank you to our advisors. You were awesome. Woo!
Thank you, Meg.
Go Otters!
And we'll hopefully see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye everybody.
Bye.